Chunking Up, NLP and Language from Zetetic Pioneering Strategies. NLP chunking, as it's called, can be up or down or across. There are 2 more videos in this series. Guess what? One of them's about chunking down and the other one is about chunking across. This one is about chunking up. This is also sometimes referred to as the hierarchy of ideas or levels of abstraction. All of this chunking business is really about how to choose your words wisely, or even how to use your mind. I certainly use chunking to help me choose my words wisely. And I tend to be conscious in general conversation about whether I am chunking up or chunking down, chunking across. Not every moment of the time, but I am consciously considering it. In this video, I'll be talking about what is chunking up, some questions to ask in order to do it, what words you might look out for, what kind of people instinctively chunk up more than in any other direction, how and why to use it, and a warning. So, what is this chunking up? Through this, we become less and less specific, more and more general, more broad, more vague, more inclusive, more big picture, and we're taking a higher level of abstraction. In NLP, this is associated with the Milton model. Here are some questions to ask if you feel that in your conversation what needs to happen is chunking up. A good question to ask when listening to somebody and they're describing something is something like, well, what does that do for you? Or possibly, what's important to you about that? Or maybe, what is this part of? Or what does it mean to you? Possibly, what do you really want? What does that bring you? What motivates you to do that thing? What's the purpose of doing that thing? Or even, what is all of this about? So can you hear that those questions take us bigger, broader? I almost feel like I have to do that with my hands because it's like those questions do take us bigger, broader. Going in the opposite direction takes us down, in, smaller. Sorts of words to look out for are nominalizations. If you don't know what nominalizations are, I have made a video about this in this language series. But nominalizations are basically verbs made into nouns. So peace, respect, love, freedom, happiness, change. Those are all nominalizations. And when people chunk up about what something is why something is important to them, what it means to them, what is it all about, they tend to end up somewhere with those kind of words. Notice they're not sensory specific words, they're abstract. So this chunked up business is much more about ideas and concepts than it is about the 5 senses. So when you consider that, what kind of people might find this useful? Definitely leaders, politicians, because their words have to appeal to many diverse people, and anything too specific is going to put people off. That's why you get that rather silly dance in the media where politicians are really trying to keep it broad and people interviewing them are really trying to get them to be specific. But of course they don't want to be specific, because then there's going to be some people who don't agree with that. They want to keep it broad and inspirational and motivational and all those chunked up kind of things. And it's the same with spiritual leaders. You know, if they get too specific, they're going to lose their followers. Because it's like, no, we've got to do it this way. Oh, well, I'm not doing that. You see, the broader they can be, the more followers they will have. So why would we use chunking up? To create more options and choices, so that we're not just fixed on one way of achieving what it is that we want. You see, if we know what we want in broad terms, for example, we know that we want success, that actually gives us the opportunity of achieving that success through a number of different routes, number of different jobs, number of different ways. Whereas if we think our success has to be this way, we're limiting ourselves. That's the first reason why we might use chunking up. Second reason is we might want to create awareness of a context or a bigger picture. Bigger picture. And that, of course, is often what politicians or spiritual leaders are doing, creating an awareness of a bigger picture. In a group, it's important to chunk up when communicating with a group, as I would do in a training context, because there are many people, many diverse people, and we really want to appeal to all of those people. So to be able to chunk up and include them is very important. Final reason, number 4, in negotiation or mediation, we may want to chunk up in order to gain the sort of agreement that I've been talking about, to gain agreement or a common understanding, before then chunking back down to find out everybody's individual specific requirements. And a warning, because of the lack of detail and practicality, people may be agreeing, getting excited, being really motivated about whatever it is that you're talking about. Hooray, let's go, yeah, we're with this, wonderful. But the trouble is, that's very different from actually doing things. So do remember that once that kind of thing has been achieved, if you want something to happen, you are going to have to be chunking down to something more specific. Also, when you use this particular way of communicating, remember the zetetic rigor model. Recover information in order to generate experiential richness. If your life, or the life of the person that you're speaking to, is not in some way improving or getting better as a result of this conversation, then what are you doing? If you like this video, please like it. I would appreciate your comments and questions below. And please subscribe if you would like to receive more of these videos.